So throughout the conference, we have said periodically to think about your burning questions and what things maybe aren't getting answered that you really want to learn more about. And so this is your opportunity to really ask those questions. What do you have still unanswered? And this is a variation on our programmatic topics that we've done in the past. We want to zhuzh it up a little bit. And I think one of the sort of unintentional themes of this conference is connection and coming together again. So this is another opportunity for you to talk to your peers. If you see someone that you haven't spoken to yet, you can feel free to do so. But we are going to break you up into 3 different groups and put you in this room and then the 2 breakout rooms. We're going to do this twice, so each group is going to be for 30 minutes each. And you can go around the room and ask your burning question, or if you have multiple, you can ask multiple. And this can spark conversation, camaraderie, etc. Feel free. If you find yourself breaking into smaller groups, if you find you're talking one-on-one with someone, that is absolutely fine. Folks who are going to be in the virtual room, if you feel you want to DM someone one-on-one, you are absolutely allowed to do that. If you want to talk to the group at large, no problem. This is really just another opportunity for you to connect with your peers here. And this will not be recorded, so let her rip. So here's group for round 1. Like I said, it's going to be 30 minutes. Also, each group will have a program officer or IMLS staff in the room. We will not participate in your conversations, but we will be on hand if you have a question that needs IMLS input. Happy to provide that. So Ballroom's group 1, Federal Hill, which is just across the way here, is group 2. And then group 3 is in that water table room that's through the restaurant. So we have 30 minutes for this. So around like 1:35, if we want to reconvene back here to see where your second group is going, we'll keep time on that. So have fun. Yeah, 2:15. Thanks for getting in your groups, and I hope you had some meaningful conversations and asked your questions. Is there anyone who wants to share out a bit about something they learned, some interesting feedback, factoids, horror stories? This is a brave space, after all.
Is it?
There you
Yes,
go.
it is. I think one of the things that I heard was some newer people that came on didn't know about the state's manual that's on your website, and that's like something super important for new folks to look at and go through, and a lot depends on the timing and when there's training and when they came on and all that kind of stuff. But, it's a really easy thing to miss, but there's a lot of really good information to dive into there.
Thank you, Janet. Yes, we keep all of our most valuable information on our Grants Estates manual online and update it often. Laura and Cindy, not to put you on the spot, how did the chat go? Were there any highlights you want to share from the chat?
The chat was amazing, actually. Because it was in a different room, we will have a transcript in a safe space, but we were able to take the focus away from us, and they were able to mostly interact with each other.
Beautiful.
So there was a lot of questions among themselves. They asked about replicability of projects, SPR, distribution, and data points within that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fascinating. It was really great. And when I told them, now is the time to toot your own horn when we were talking about replicability, they did it. They did it. It was great.
Thank you. All right. Unless anybody has any final comments, questions? Thank you. I'll head it back over to Terry.
All right. You have all been with us for 1.5 days, and we know it's getting to the end, so we're gonna get to the end and not belabor it. And the thing I want to emphasize, maybe for the first time for the virtual folks, but certainly not for the folks in the room, we want you to fill out this survey. So feel free to grab it right now and sit and fill it out while I'm wrapping up my remarks. Folks online, hopefully you can get this link and also fill it out. It's really important to us to hear your feedback. We use it every single year that we run the conference and try to iterate based on what you tell us. So this being our first hybrid conference, we're especially interested in how it went and what we can learn and do better in the future. So I'm going to leave this up for just a minute while I get a few more props. We're going to revisit first the 5-year plan comparison continuum, which people in the room probably were able to see, but I'm going to make sure that we have a little video snapshot of it for the virtual folks. So I'm not quite sure how this will work, but we've got on the left here, the new plan will be virtually unchanged in number and nature of goals. And you can see there's quite a cluster here of states that are in that. Yeah, I'm struggling. Okay. Dennis to the rescue. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so yeah, I can even read out the states. We've got Wyoming, Alaska, Kansas, Arkansas, Kentucky, New York, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Indiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, West Virginia, Arizona, Washington, New Mexico, Michigan, and Virginia. And did I say New York? And then we've got +7 from the virtual realm. So a lot of activity here on the virtually unchanged side of the spectrum. Then we've got a few moving into this side over here is representing a total overhaul in number and nature of goals. So in the middle, we've got a little cluster, North Dakota, Vermont, Montana, New Jersey, Ohio, Iowa, Georgia, +3 virtual. And then over we're branching out, we're doing something new, is Nevada, North Carolina, Minnesota, DC, Wisconsin, Maryland, Massachusetts, Utah with an exclamation point. And then on the far, far side is US Virgin Islands and +3 virtual. So we've got a spectrum here, and we applaud you and are excited to see when these actual plans come in. So kudos, we know you're near the finish line. Thank you. Okay, then I'm going to go grab the appreciation wall. So for those online wondering what this thing looked like, it's just a big sticky paper, but we've got colorful notes from all sorts of folks, and I think we had some virtual folks who got their kudos up here too, so we appreciate you interacting with this for the first time. I'm not going to read all of them, but I did sort of a quick high-level digest. We had a lot of mentor shout-outs or veteran folks in the room shout-outs, or just people who were generally helpful either in the SDC community or taking people to lunch and showing them around Baltimore. So those folks were Lori Fisher, Wendy Copland, Rachel Cook, Susan Mark, Kathleen Mueller-Piper, Mary Ramey, Whitney Payne, Jennifer Peacock. So that's a lot of great kudos. Thank you. We will make sure to get you your kudos. If your name was represented here, we will probably send an email with that for posterity, so you'll have it forever. There were a couple of shout-outs to the development director contingent, which meets on Fridays, and what a great and supportive group that has been. So do we have any development directors in the room right now? Oh yeah, we got about 10 raising hands, and you are clearly another very supportive community to each other, and we have some great shout outs here. We had a shout out for someone who was sub-awarding for the first time and really appreciated the material they could find online about your sub-award applications and guidelines, so kudos. And then a session shout out specifically, I don't think she's in the room, but to Tammy Lee, who was on the Diverse Audiences panel yesterday, and how inspired she made someone. And we had a couple new people who were just expressing how much they were learning and how much they were feeling welcomed by this community and supported. So kudos to everybody in the room for being such friendly and welcoming LSTA coordinators and friends. Then we had just a few kind of random kudos. There's some art that's hanging out on the table from the hotel, so someone liked that. Also records. We have a stash of records in this hotel, and they put one album cover on each table, which was kind of fun. Someone really liked Lunch on Your Own, so they shouted that out. And then I didn't realize Beyonce was in attendance, but she got a shout out for her new single, I guess in our honor, so that's fun too. So the appreciation wall, huge success. Thank you all for participating in that. Really, I don't have much more to say, except thank you to the folks that were brave enough to come up and present their perspectives here. We appreciate you so much, and even, pivoting to the virtual realm. So thanks to Jamie, Tammy, Hadia, Ramanita, and Mary, Rob, Evan, and Susan for today. We really appreciate you. I have already thanked folks throughout, so I'm not going to do a long thank you acceptance speech. We've had those thank yous. You know who you are. You're all super instrumental in making this conference a success. But I will end just by saying, as a federal program, we have asked so much of you this past year in particular, and you have risen to the occasion every time. You have knit yourselves together as a community and held each other up in these difficult years and months. And your relationships with us at IMLS make our work so worthwhile. Thank you for adapting with us to this hybrid conference with its rigorous safety protocols, knowing that we're all in it together and we need to keep each other safe as much as ourselves. Thank you for upholding this program with integrity and giving your best day in and day out to make a difference with federal and state funds. We appreciate you, and we send you off with fond farewells until the next time that we can gather. Thank you.